Hello again, Facebook family. How are you? How are things going on this lovely Thursday evening? It's going great for me. I am doing fantastic, and I hope you are too. It's been a great day. I was able to accomplish a lot today. I got just about everything on my list of things that I wanted to get done today done. It was one or two things, actually it was two things that I wasn't able to get done. But that's okay. I'm just going to slide those over into tomorrow's list, and I'm going to put them at the top because that's what I'm going to tackle first. And I want to know how your day was. Tell me, type it in. Let me know, how was your day? Were you able to accomplish a lot? Were you able to accomplish just a little? Maybe you didn't accomplish anything at all, which is exactly what I want to talk about tonight. Maybe you're feeling a little disappointed about not accomplishing anything. Or maybe your day was just filled with disappointment. It happens. It's life. And that's a good question. Like, how do you deal with disappointment? I want to know how some of you guys deal with disappointment. Like, type that in. Let me know. I have my own method for dealing with disappointment. And I have some suggestions, recommendations on things we can put in place to deal with disappointment. A lot of times, we don't have anything in place. And so when disappointment happens, we just react like it's part of our personality. However we behave whenever disappointment shows up. However, if you want to live a powerful life, at least I believe if you want to be powerful, perhaps you would want to have a plan in place in order to deal with disappointment. I think it's smart. I know sometimes it may seem like too much to do. I don't think so. I think having a plan in place to deal with disappointment is smart because instead of reacting to disappointment, you can respond. I mean, like, how many of you have been disappointed with something and overreacted? Maybe said some things that you didn't really want to say. Maybe you did some things that you didn't really want to do. And so then you have those regrets. And quite frankly, you know, it can leave you paralyzed in a sense because sometimes when we get the disappointment shows up. It's like, I'm so disappointed that I don't want to try no more. I don't want to pursue this anymore. I just want to just like stop. You know, and for some people, disappointment can be so great that it causes them to give up. You know, a good example of disappointment causing paralysis is, you know, you could have been disappointed in a relationship. And so when you get in this next relationship, if that one didn't work and you were disappointed, man, your guards are up so high that you don't even give that relationship an opportunity because, you know, that disappointment has just disappointed you so bad. It's kind of preventing you from moving forward. So what do? Let's get to it. Like, how do you handle disappointment? Type it in. I would like to know what you think about that. My view is you have a plan. One of the things that shows up with disappointment is anger sometimes. I know it does for me at times. When I get disappointed, especially if I have high expectations on something and it doesn't come through, something happens, or, you know, maybe the person doesn't do what they said they were going to do. So now I'm disappointed. You know, you can get frustrated. You can be angry. A lot of things can show up. But one thing that you can do is channel that energy, right? So you're angry, and that's a lot of energy and emotion around your disappointment. But one thing that you can do is channel that energy into something positive. Right? It can motivate you, or you can use it to motivate you, right? And so now you're channeling. That's what I call channeling. Channeling your energy, directing it towards something that will produce a result that you want, right? Because let's face it, when you're disappointed and you're just reacting to that disappointment and you're just kind of going on and, you know, whatever's coming up is coming up and you're saying it, you're doing it, and it may not get you anything. Like, it may not serve you. It's okay to be disappointed, but how you behave in that situation, it could either serve you or not, right? It could either cause you to move beyond it and go higher, further, or set you back or keep you in the same place. So that's why I believe in, you know, if you want to get angry, I'm not saying that you don't get angry. Everyone gets angry. It's a human thing. It's you know, it happens. But it's how you deal with your anger. You know, that's what really makes the difference. So if we can channel that energy into something positive, you know, then we can produce a positive result, which I think is great, right? I mean, that's all all we want. That's what we all want. It's positive results in our lives. You know, I believe that when disappointment happens, you know, you want to respond, and you want to make sure that your response gives you the most expedient and beneficial results possible. And so that's what we're talking about. Like, how do we do that? And one of the things that comes up is anger. So we can channel our energy into something positive. Okay. And if, you know, you get disappointed and you want to shut down, like, because that's something that happens too. Like, for people that don't really get angry, they get very reserved and they start shutting down. Okay. I mean, how many of you know people like that? You know, they get disappointed and they don't want to communicate. They don't want to talk. They don't want to do anything. They just kind of want to go off and, like, be by themselves. Like, don't bother me. And I guess that's okay. You know, it's just that I asked the question, is that serving me? If I go shut down and I don't want to talk, I don't want to be bothered, I don't want to communicate, like, what good is that to be that way, and you're that way because you're disappointed? You know, I think that if we can really change that situation or change our behavior, especially if we know that's the type of person that we are, that we're going to shut down, and we know that doesn't serve us, then we can take the opportunity to look and see, like, what would happen if I didn't act that way when I was disappointed? Like, could I produce a better result? And I think so. And I think having that plan in place, like, if you know yourself enough to know how you react whenever you get angry, and then, you know, you keep it in the back of your mind that, you know, the way I act doesn't give me the result that I want. So I'm going to change that. And I'm going to have a plan in place. And my plan is, well, I know I get angry. So I'm going to take that energy and I'm going to channel it towards my goal, channel it towards the result I want, channel it towards something positive. And that may mean that, you know, you find some activity that you can do during that time to release your energy, right? Instead of arguing, bickering, and complaining, that energy could be spent on something that brings you joy, something that makes you money, something that, you know, increases your relationship, maybe even increases the love for yourself. Whatever it is, I mean, you can really do whatever you want to do with this. This is really your life. It's up to you, okay? But I just feel that having that awareness about yourself and having that plan in place, even if it's just in the back of your mind because you just know yourself, can produce a better result, right? And instead of being paralyzed by being disappointed, you can say, well, you know, I'm going to try on just communicating a little bit more. I'm going to try on, you know, interacting. Even though I'm disappointed, I'm just going to press forward. I'm not going to let the disappointment control me. I'm going to control myself in this disappointment. You know, and it takes a conscious effort to do that. You know, and when I deal with clients one-on-one, a lot of times this is what's blocking them from what they really want to achieve. Like when we set up their goals that they want to achieve and they're working towards them and they get disappointed, right? Because things don't always go right the first time. We all know that, right? It's, you know, a process. And sometimes you're disappointed in that process. It's not always happy time in the process. Sometimes there's disappointment, right? And so whenever they're in that place and we can have those discussions about, okay, you know, you're feeling disappointed right now. You're not feeling empowered. And so because you're not feeling empowered, you may not, you know, you may not be in that position to take empowered action. You may not be doing the things that you really need to be doing right now because you're dealing with disappointment. So we want to get that out of the way as quick as possible, right? And I'm going to tell you, sometimes in life, things show up. It can show up in our families. You know, things happen that make us feel disappointed. But they don't have to paralyze us. You know, it doesn't have to disempower us. You know, it doesn't. We can move through that. And I think it starts with a plan. It starts with knowing yourself. And just take a look. Like, how do you act when you're disappointed? You know you better than I know you. And you can look at your behaviors and the things that you do and feel when you're disappointed. Like, ask yourself the question, is that serving me? Is that really empowering? Is it inspirational? Is it transformational? You know, is it ordinary? You know, what is it? Is it extraordinary? If so, that's good. But it may not be, you know. And so now what we have is an area in your life where you're potentially disempowered because of disappointment. And to be honest with you too, if you want to live a powerful life, like all the time, not just sometimes, like for those of you that are really interested in living a powerful life, like 24/7, then potentially this is an area that we can start to work on, right? Because sometimes disappointment can last over time. And we're not even realize that we're carrying with us baggage of disappointment. I mean, that's real. That's real talk right there. There's people now that's walking around with baggage of disappointment. Like they haven't dealt with it. They haven't become complete with a disappointment that happened in their life. And it could be years ago. But they haven't learned how to deal with disappointment. So they carry that. And they blame people. They're always angry. They can't really open up themselves to love anyone. They won't open up themselves enough for someone else to love them. Because they're dealing with disappointment. You know? And so, if we can think about how we are, who we are in those moments of disappointment and ask ourselves, right? Is this serving me? And if it isn't, let's think about another way that we can be. Because that's what we are. We're human beings. And it's in our being that we're either creating or destroying. We're building up or we're tearing down. And even in moments of disappointment, we can still be powerful. We can still build up. We can still inspire. We can still be inspiring. Beautiful. That's what I think. Type in. Let me know, if you will, please. What do you guys think about that? Like, how do you guys handle disappointment? For some people, disappointment is something that happens on a daily basis. You know, paralyzes people, unable to move because of disappointment. So type it in. Let me know what you think. Let me know if there's something. I mean, what structure do you have in place to deal with disappointment? You know, that's That's another thing. Like, not only have an action plan, but potentially a structure of how you deal with disappointment. A powerful structure, not one that's just how I am and that's how I do it, so I'm going to do it that way. No, a structure that keeps you powerful, keeps you inspiring, keeps you moving forward, keeps your relationships, your business, everything about you in a forward direction. Let me know what you guys think. So type it in. Thank you guys for watching. I love you. Have a wonderful evening. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care.